Ohio gozaimasu. Oh, good morning. Oh, we're connecting the head and the heart through the vagus nerve by making this sound, and we're breathing, and we're crushing and sniffing, because when you press something a little bit, it brings out the best in it, maybe. So breathing always makes you feel better. It's a tool that you always have to instantly feel better. And then you add a little extra something to it by putting some herbs like rosemary. This is getting a little crumbly, but it's still great. And happy Easter, or estrogen. Happy estrogen day. When we think about eggs and rising and breaking through and all of that kind of stuff. Whoops. And breaking down, maybe. Anyway, hello. We have an interesting show for you today. Maybe not a plant that you would think that one would normally do, but I was thinking about resurrection. Surrection is rising, has to do sometimes with building. And surrection, we had an insurrection recently, and this is a resurrection day, which means that you rise again. Basically is what that means. And the egg thing, I put a post to. I don't know if you can see that ostrich egg in the back. I don't think you can. There it is a little bit. Ostrich egg and a little green egg. They come this way, the way they feed these eggs. And I was thinking about, so there's Shakespeare mentions Easter one time in Romeo and Juliet. And it also has eggs in the quote, so I'll read that. It's not the line of the week, don't worry. Thy head is full of quarrels, as an egg is full of meat. And yet thy head hath been beaten as addle as an egg for quarreling. Right? So fighting and arguing doesn't clear your brain. It addles the egg of your head. Thou hast quarreled with a man for coughing in the street, because he hath wakened thy dog that hath lain asleep in the sun. Didst thou not fall out with a tailor for wearing his new doublet before Easter? So there you get eggs and Easter all in one quote from Mercutio in Romeo and Juliet. Oh, and I also got roses. I couldn't find Easter lilies, so I got roses. Roses are associated with Easter because of the resurrection. He is risen, he rose. And so, rose. And the story there is that even if not only your enemies, but your friends betray you and kill you, you can rise again. So I got a little tiny champagne. This is from Sofia Coppola, of all things. And it comes really with these little straws. Aren't they cute? And so, cheers. Happy Easter. That's my brunch. I have coffee too. So sending my brain and body some mixed signals there. So I just also wanted to mention the aspect of theater, because Shakespeare sort of came to prominence. There was theater before in 1567, prior to the theater that they had in the late 16th century. They had religious medieval morality plays, a lot of plays about Jesus and the resurrection and all of that stuff. There was a famous play called the Corpus Christi play, which Queen Elizabeth issued an edict in 1559, right after she was coronated, ascended to the crown, to stop performing the Corpus Christi play. And it took years and years for people to kind of roll out that edict and stop doing it. But the other thing is, because her father had initiated the Reformation in England, the dissolution of the monasteries and all of that stuff, theaters ended up in monasteries. The Curtain Theater was a monastery. Blackfriars. Curtain didn't mean curtain. Curtain was a curtain wall that kind of went around the property, or the structure, if you will, and got sort of repurposed. And fascinating trajectory. And a friend of mine is one of the archaeologists who unearthed the Curtain Theater from MOLA, which is the Museum of London Archaeology, I think. And her son said to her, would theater have existed or blossomed? He was 9, so I don't think he used the word blossom. But if the Reformation hadn't happened. And it's a brilliant observation because that's where they performed, and because they needed a replacement for these medieval morality plays that were done all over the country. So that's why, one of the reasons why Hannah and I decided to do an Easter show, because, or at least I was thinking about that, because theater for many people replaced the prevailing religion at the time, and the places that they went to celebrate that. So it's a sort of a fascinating connection. So today we're going to be talking about nettles. Nettles might be a weird choice for Easter, but it's interesting. One of the reasons is I saw people posting nettles. Nettles are in season in England, and my landlady over there made me nettle soup one time, which was delicious, and I tried to make it here. Nettle tea is very good for, I'm sure Hannah will talk about that, and I always tell this story. It's in the book. Where is the book? Anyway, so that's the story of theater, resurrection, and now we're going to hear about nettles. So let's bring Hannah on, our medical herbalist from Lincoln, Lincolnshire. Oh, the line of the day. So I chose, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. It's one of the famous, hi, Hannah, you've got the books behind you today.
I do. It's too dark downstairs.
Happy Easter. Hey, so it's late in the afternoon for you. Did you have an Easter egg hunt by any chance? No. Yeah, I did. I hunted for it in my refrigerator. Easy. Anyway, cheers. I'm having a little. I would have mimosa if I had juice, but I don't have any juice, so I have to drink it straight. Poor me. So tell us about nettles. I should probably be having nettles after I have this, right?
Wow.
What are nettles?
So, I mean, here's some that I picked the other day, actually. So what we're talking about when we're talking about nettle is stinging nettle. So there are sort of there are lots of different herbs in the UK that are called dead nettle, which aren't nettles at all. So this is the true nettle. This is stinging nettle. So Urtica dioica. And really, it's kind of this part that's the best bit. So it's the tips that you're looking for. So I picked this with my bare hands.
I know. How did you do that?
Right from the top. So basically, if you kind of put your hands like that and then grasp the nettle and pluck the top clump of leaves off it. Can you just see that there? And you're not going against the grain of the hairs, the stinging hairs. So if you're really, really careful, you can pick it without gloves, like I did. But obviously, safety first. Pick the gloves on. But it is also where the term grasp the nettle comes from as well.
I don't think we have that term over here, but I like that. And I love the metaphor of not going against the grain, the stinging hairs. That's fantastic. Wow, yeah, I didn't know you could pluck them with your bare hands. I did. I started to say, and I did put it in the book, I did get stung by stinging nettles when we were out tramping around this field in Ireland looking for Edmund Spenser's Kilcolman Castle. And I was like, oh my God, what is that? What is that? So painful. And then I'm like, okay, it's stinging nettles, and that's good because I'm experiencing the book, but it really hurt. And of course, I didn't learn until I finished writing the book that you can crush up dock, which grows right near it, right next to it sometimes, and to crush up dock leaves and rub it on the stung part, and it relieves the pain. Unfortunately, according to the internet, it takes 24 hours for the pain to go away, and that is true almost to the minute if you don't have dock, or maybe there's something else you can apply to stem the sting.
I mean, you can use ribwort plantain leaf, but it is the same kind of thing.
Okay, plantain. We've done so on plantain.
But yeah, I mean, in terms of their uses, like you were saying, really, nettles, we need to be thinking of as more of a vegetable than a weed.
Okay.
Because I'm going to reel off a load of wow facts for you now, but it does just prove a point. So when you steam nettle leaves, they taste a little bit like spinach, but they're a lot cheaper than spinach.
Yeah.
And they also contain, wait for it, I've got a list because I never remember. They contain vitamin B complex, vitamin C, vitamin K. The nettle leaves are 25 to 40% protein. So they're really, really good as a protein addition to the diet.
So if you're a vegan, this is a great thing to eat because you're getting your protein. Excellent.
Absolutely. And also linked in with that, they're really high in iron. And then they also contain calcium, magnesium, zinc, potassium, and selenium.
So they're a powerhouse, really. And they're just considered a weed. And you can find them. I mean, we don't recommend this. Hannah and I have talked about this before, but I've seen them in parking lots, growing in the cracks of the cement.
Yeah, they'll grow anywhere. I mean, as long as you're careful to only pick the tops before they're flowered, ideally, and as long as you're picking away from traffic and not somewhere where dogs go for walks, then
right.
Ideally, it should be okay. But be aware of what goes on around the nettles that you pick.
Okay. So, like I said, I did, my landlady made me some soup, nettle soup. So am I getting all that stuff when it's cooked?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's nettle soup is a fantastic thing to make. It's, I mean, you can add all sorts of different things to nettle soup, but it really is a really good sort of nutritionally valuable soup, really, that's so simple to make and cheap.
Now, I had gone years ago to a kind of a massage polarity therapist, and she had told me to take nettle tea. At the time, I'd never heard of it. And for, I think, my hair, for making my hair was dry or something like that. And she suggested it for that. It must be because of the B vitamins, right?
Kind of, yeah. And also nettle's quite rich in silica as well. So it's I mean, anything else. So I mean, it's really great for that. And you can also make with nettle leaves, you can make a really nice hair rinse with fresh nettle leaves. So you can essentially make a saucepan of nettle tea, and then when you've washed your hair, you can pour that over your hair as a very sort of strengthening hair tonic for darker coloured hair.
Why darker coloured hair?
Good question. Don't know.
Okay.
Camomile's meant to be great for lighter coloured hair. Nettle's meant to be good for darker coloured hair. So I'm just assuming it's the kind of, because nettle tea, when you brew it, turns really dark brown. So I'm guessing that's kind of where it comes from.
Oh, okay. Okay, so all you brunettes out there, I want to hear reports of how you do nettle tea. And you can get it in boxes of nettle tea now. That's where I got it. They also, at my farmer's market, carry stinging nettles around this time of year, which is how I ended up experimenting with the nettle soup. But I made it with chicken stock just to give it a little more flavor, because you're right, it does taste very spinachy. And so I didn't realize I was getting quite this many nutrients, though. So that's amazing. And do you usually do tea, or do you do soup? Do you do all of it? What else can you make anything else from nettles?
Yeah, so I mean, the soup's great, the tea's great. So obviously, if you're going to infuse it into a tea, I mean, a little clump like that just off one plant will easily make 1 cup of infused herbal tea. Then if you're going to make a tincture, you can infuse it in vodka. And when you're using it as a tea and when you're using it as a tincture, that's when you're getting sort of more of the medicinal benefits from it rather than the nutritional. But you'll still get some nutrition from it, but you'll get more of the medicinal things. So you'll get things like the anti-inflammatory aspects that it can provide. So it's really nice for kind of it's a thing like arthritis and anything where there's a lot of inflammation. It's slightly antihistamine, so you can use it in combination with other herbs as a really nice tea for relieving hay fever symptoms. And then, of course, one of its most famous things is that it's a diuretic, so helps improve the quality of urine flow, amongst many other things that it does fantastically well.
Yeah, I think you can be on a diet of pure nettles for like a week and get your protein and everything else. Now I have to get back to the farmer's market to get some more. Anyway, I thought nettles would be good because of the prickly nature of, even like I was talking about how theater became a replacement during the post-Reformation period in England, but we miss this sort of rising again, and there's a real holistic aspect to nettles too. There's so many nutrients in there, and anyway, I thought it was a nice mix for today. However you celebrate today or don't celebrate today, always you want to celebrate your health and well-being. And as we've talked about before, the reason Hannah and I do this is to give people a little more agency and information about the old practices are often, well, this is where modern medicine comes from. So you're going back to the roots. Yes, I'm using a plant metaphor because I like that. Anyway, so I'm just going to leave you with the line of the day. This is for you too, Hannah. Like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth sings hymns at heaven's gate. It's a beautiful one. Have a beautiful week. Crack your egg. See what's inside. Nurture it. And this is yet another new year, new rising, new start, fresh start. Mwah.